Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to be doing the weekly read for the sign of Pisces. Elemental water sign, right? Symbolized by the fish. Love Pisces energy. It's the last sign in the zodiac, right? So some say that within Pisces all the signs are represented. It's a very kind of closing the karmic cycle sign, oftentimes when you are at that part of your kind of travels, right? Your soul travels. You're born into a Pisces sign. It can indicate shifting up to another level, right? Evolving, learning lessons, right? So, Pisces, let's see what your two cards are for the relationship that's going to take center stage in your life this week. That's what these readings are. They look at whatever relationship, whether it's like a family relationship, a friend relationship, or a lover relationship, whatever kind of dynamic you're having with another individual that's going to be taking center stage in your life this week, right? That's going to be the most important dynamic, or the one, for instance, at least that this reading is honing in on, right? And how to handle that dynamic this week. So oftentimes it can be somebody you are in love with, or somebody you want to be in love with, somebody who may be in love with you. Can discuss where you're feeling, like where you're at, you know, in terms of your life, where you're at with business or career. So let's see. Pisces. First card is very soon. And let go of control issues. Wow. All right. So that's a pretty heavy card. Let go of control issues. Oftentimes that can be yourself or your person, right? Just dealing with all kinds of control issues. But I'm not even going to, you know, the cards are self-explanatory. Very soon. And let go of control issues. But we got to get into the reading to really understand what this means for you, right? So let's get your 7 cards out. What's going on for Pisces this June 24th to July 1st? I don't know what these two cards are all about in their lives, whether they're affirmations, reaffirmations, warning signs, right? Energies. Perhaps Pisces should be working towards. Energies that Pisces should be perhaps walking away from. Alright, so we just want to get a clear reading for those who are going to be tuning into this video. Show me. Pisces, your first card out is interesting. 9 of Cups. 2 of Wands for you. How you see yourself. How you see your person. Knight of Wands. How you see your relationship. 9 of Pentacles. How your person sees themselves. Their self-identity is Queen of Wands. How they see you is the Moon. And how they see the relationship is 3 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, you have King of Swords. Interesting. So, of course, King of Swords is the control king. Right? Of all the kings, he's the most controlling. Right? He's the most manipulative at times. Right? If there is a, you know, he's the one who is discerning, demanding. He's the rule setter. Right? He's the disciplinarian. He's the alpha masculine energy in the family or the relationship oftentimes. He's the one who's, you know, it's his word or no other. It's his way or the highway sort of attitude, right? This is the most stern of all the kings. And it doesn't have to be negative. This can also be, you know, the most stable of all the kings in many ways, because he maintains order in his household. He maintains order and discipline, right? But sometimes it can be overbearing. This king can be quite oppressive, right? He doesn't have the nurturing, beckoning energy of the queen, right? He's the King of Swords. So it all depends on how he comes across. But certainly when the King of Swords is in is in play during a reading, there's issues of control somewhere along the line. Nine of Cups. So Nine of Cups is like, a lot of people talk about Nine of Cups being like the wish fulfillment, right? Card. The blissed out card, the happiness, you got everything you wanted card. You're quite pleased with yourself, right? But be careful. There's a warning inherent with the Nine of Cups, as there is with all 9 cards. Because nines talks about your relationship to self and being solitary and alone. 9 being the hermit. So inherent in the 9 of Cups is also to kind of be careful that you don't find yourself alone amongst your happiness, right? You know what I mean? Oftentimes, this character, you know, he seems to indicate that he's very pleased with himself. He got everything he wanted, but he's alone. Right? He's on his own. He's solitary. He's enjoying all of his cups alone. So yeah, so it can very much indicate, you know, control. Certainly control over relationships. Having relationships for relationships' sake, right? Doing things really only for your own kind of benefit, right? So take care. This is the central card for you this week. So it can also indicate, Pisces, that, you know, perhaps you need to look at that. Perhaps you do need to look at somewhere your relationship where, you know, are you feeling alone in the relationship? Is it really everything that you wanted, you know? Are you pleased, truly pleased with the relationship that you have, right? Are you truly happy with it? You may be on the surface. To everyone else, you may be portraying like you're very, very happy. But underneath the surface, do you really feel the closeness that you want to be feeling in your relationship, right? If this is a close relationship. And I believe that it may be. So let's get into your card. You see 2 of Wands. You're very much thinking about the future right now. You're thinking about unity, coming together. You see yourself as kind of being on your path, right? You're very ambitious right now, right? You're feeling very ambitious. You're feeling kind of buoyed up, confident. You know, things have happened recently in your life that have made you feel very confident, certainly confident enough to take another step towards your career or towards your goals or your wish, right, that you want for yourself. The world is your oyster in your hand, right? So you're looking at the possibilities as, you know, you're looking very expansively at the possibilities, right? It's Mars and Aries energy, 2 of Wands. So it's certainly pioneering type of, you feel very much like, you know, you're off on your own kind of independent path, right? This is also when you feel like, you know, you're ready for the fight, too. You're ready not to just give in. You're ready to take the next step on your path, right? You're ready to kind of like, you know, do whatever it takes, right? And that's really how you're seeing yourself right now. You are seeing yourself like in a very kind of ambitious way of moving on with your life. And so it can be quite interesting that you have 9 of Cups right now, because you are really starting to think about your relationships, and maybe you aren't quite as happy as you thought you were. You know, maybe this desire, this awakening that you're having most recently is kind of now starting to awaken you to the fact that some of your relationships aren't really where you need them to be. And your desire to go forward with life is a kind of overshadowing all of that. Like, you're not prepared to stay here because the passion here is kind of too strong to ignore. You certainly see your person as someone who's very much the same as you. You see them as kind of on their path as well. It could be why you're it could be why you're interested in them. Could be why you're attracted to this individual, because this individual has got Knight of Wands energy as you see it. So you see them being very ambitious, moving forward, right? Being inventive, being creative, extremely creative. Someone, you know, someone who's perhaps some of their qualities you may even want to emulate, right? You may, right? But it also kind of feels very much like they're too much movement associated with them, right? So their kind of movement in your life is a little flaky. It can be a little flaky. It can be a little bit hot you know, they come in, and then it could possibly be also that it cools off. Because interestingly enough, if you see them as a knight, it's like you're always seeing them also on the move too. They're always on the move. They're always on the move. They're always on the move, right? And that could be quite disconcerting to you. It could be one of the reasons why you're realizing that, am I truly happy with this relationship? Because like I said, right, the passion that's inherent in this card is what is attracting you, right? The Wands energy, right? But, and by the way, Pisces can be extremely fiery, you know. This is why oftentimes when I do readings for Pisces, Wands will come up, right? People always talk about cups being water signs, but that's, you know, it's a misnomer to associate the tarot with astrology in that way. The truth of the matter is that Pisces can be very, very fiery and passionate. And so oftentimes they'll have a lot of wands and they'll be attracted to a lot of wands. Knight of Wands. They love fiery individuals, really, right? But this movement, this constant in and out, this constant like movement sometimes, I think for you, Pisces, right, whose waters do and can run quite deep, and still at times you're starting to realize with your Nine of Cups that on the surface, yeah, it looks good on paper. This individual, right, on paper, he's got all the qualities, but actually being in a relationship with this person is not at all what it's all cracked up to be, right? And you're finding yourself actually feeling quite alone at times, feeling happy, but suddenly alone, right? And wondering, well, hang on a second, am I happy with this? Right, so the relationship has definitely kept you feeling quite beautiful and confident. Nine of Pentacles being the card for how you see your relationship with this individual. You see it as something that you've had to nurture, certainly, but it's another 9. Right, another 9. So you have your Nine of Cups up here, so Nine of Pentacles. So again, this kind of like, yeah, perhaps being with this individual has maybe made you feel like you've been quite supported financially to a certain degree, right? They've kept you in beautiful clothing, perhaps, or they've kept you feeling beautiful, feeling stable. It's not like you have to worry about, and what I mean is, I don't mean like rich. I just mean like not having to worry about being evicted or paying bills or living check to check. A lot of Americans live check to check. You know, and anything above that is quite stable and luxurious quite often. So not having to worry necessarily about bills and things like that, and knowing that you have enough to get by each month and maybe go out for dinner and eat and enjoy yourself. I'm talking about at least that kind of level of luxury, right? That kind of level of, you know, general living, which quite frankly a lot of people don't have, right? But you see that as that, but again, it's a 9. So it's like, yeah, but you still, again, are enjoying some of these things on your own, right? Again, you know. Now, interestingly enough, I don't know, you know, letting go of control issues is quite interesting. I think this, I'll get to this in a moment, because this is a real subtle energy that's taking play here. Your individual feels Queen of Wands, right? So they feel very much like they've had to do a lot of work. They feel like they've done a lot of transformation on themselves, a lot of soul work. They feel very kind of like they've been through the fire. It could be that your person has had quite a rough time growing up earlier in their lives, right? They've had to really work hard for a lot of their dreams and their goals, perhaps harder than others. It could be that at times they had to deal with what would have been considered very unfair situations, and that they've had to be very creative to get through those situations and never really gotten the credit they deserved, right? But they're at a place now where they're transformed. They're very wise. They've learned a lot from these trials and tribulations. But certainly the Queen of Wands is one of the queens who wears her excuse me, I have to take a sip of iced coffee. She's one of the ones you see a little bit of her battle scars, right? You can see some of the battle scars on the Queen of Wands, you know, a little bit. So that's an individual that you can tell they've been through something, right? You can tell that they are wiser than they were when they were younger. They're stronger, but it was at the cost, right, of something. There was a high price to pay for it. It didn't come easily, and it's left its mark, right? Their travels have certainly left their mark on them. And that's how they see themselves, right? They're not quite sure how they see you, though. With you, it's the moon. With you, it's the moon. And it's quite interesting because it could be also that, you know, they feel quite like this is unknown territory with you, right? They're very practical, right? In a lot of ways as well. They're very kind of get down to it and get through it, right? But with you, it's kind of like they're just not sure what, you know, if you will, you know, how committed you are, how honest even you are. It could be that there's issues going on here that's making them feel like they can't trust you, right? Or something's going on somewhere along the line where they feel like suddenly they need to doubt you, right? Because they've also got Three of Cups, which is how they see the relationship. And with moon here, when they see you, they see the moon. You know, something went on or is going on right now, and it's making your person feel very much like they're being kept in the dark about what you're up to, right? And it could be that one of the reasons why this Nine of Cups is coming up, Pisces, is perhaps you met someone, right? Perhaps you met someone innocently, right? And they kind of got you thinking, because anyway, you're right now on this kind of new journey, right? On all levels, you're on this kind of new journey. And so things come into your life when they need to, right? And so perhaps maybe most recently you met someone, maybe just bumped into them, maybe out drinking with friends when you weren't with your person, right? And something about this person perhaps got you thinking about how unhappy you are in your relationship, or how, you know, if you truly are as happy as you thought you were in your relationship, right? And maybe some of this energy here, maybe you didn't do anything wrong or anything bad, or you didn't necessarily cheat on your person if you're, you know, your relationship, because this is a relationship where you two are together, right? But something along the line happened here, and they can kind of feel the shift in your energy towards them. And your person, being a Queen of Wands, who, by the way, is very intuitive. Queen of Wands is very intuitive. She figures stuff out because she's very wise. She's been through a lot, right? So there's not much you can keep from her. And oftentimes, if you're not communicating with someone who's exhibiting Queen of Wands energy, they can jump to certain conclusions. Their intuition may be right that something is wrong, but the way they then envision it could be totally off, right? So your person is starting to have kind of like, I want to say, like, they're imagining the worst, right? They're imagining the worst. They feel there's a shift in your energy, perhaps. Perhaps they think you are cheating on them, you know, because they can't understand this kind of change that's happened. They may be feeling like you are cheating on them. They may be feeling like you are lying to them about something. Something's going on because you're not communicating with them the same way that you used to. I think they certainly believe that it's no longer just you two in a relationship, that something else has come into the relationship to affect it, whether that be another person or just something else, just a new way of thinking for you. Something has shifted. Something has come into this relationship and turned it from a 2 to a 3, you know, meaning that they have to compete with something else, whether it be your feelings changing, another person, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, they feel like, okay, you know, I'm not getting the whole picture here. You know, it could be as well that they're seeing you now go out a lot more, right? And socializing a lot more. And because your energy has shifted to them a little bit, they're thinking the worst. Let's get some clarity cards coming out. It's quite interesting. Now, let go of control issues. At the bottom of the deck, it says, allow the situation to unfold naturally, right? So that's quite interesting because it's like, you know, communication and talking to your person is what's going to kind of clarify this, right? However, clarifying it might be the end of the relationship, right? Because if you have an honest conversation with your person, then you have to be honest about the fact that you've been thinking that you might not be as happy as you thought you were. You see what I'm saying? So it's, you know, you can either have that conversation, right? And so this is King of Swords as well, showing at the bottom of the deck to kind of admonish you, to warn you, to advise you. Because King of Swords is like, will come in with that conversation. You know, he's going to come in with it. He's going to interrogate, right? It could be that your person wants to come in and do that. It could be that you may desire to do that with them. I believe it could be more that your person is going to exhibit this energy because they're going to be bugged out by the fact that everything is kind of shifted for you, right? And then you're going to have that conversation, you know. So it's kind of inevitable. Show me a deeper reading. Now, also, I feel very much like earlier, like what I said, that example, right, of you perhaps having run into somebody who's got you thinking about your relationship, right? Perhaps you did do something, or perhaps you have kind of like shifted a little bit, but you may be feeling like you can, in fact, control it, right? And maybe you did. Maybe you messed around with somebody. Maybe you did cheat a little bit, right? A little bit, right? If there's, you know what I mean? You may not have cheated completely, or you may have just, you know, cuddled somebody or whatever, right? And you're kind of trying to contain it, right? It could be that you're trying to contain it and your person knows full well that something is going wrong. Something is going on. They can feel it, right? And so, again, that could also be talking to this letting go of control issues, because whatever has happened to kind of awaken you to this Nine of Cups, there's really not much you can do about it. Your feelings are changing. You know, and you can't kind of stop them or control them or stop them from changing as much as you might want them to. You can't. At some point, this conversation is going to be had because your person is not going to let it go. Show me a deeper reading. Show me some more. Give me some clarity on these cards. I want to know a little bit more about where this interaction is going to go for our beautiful Pisces. Show me. June 24th to the 1st of July. Show me. And like I said, up until now, you have been very happy in this relationship, you know, but, you know, you just can't help how you feel, right? So a lot of times that does happen sometimes, you know, we may be in relationships where we know our feelings have changed. And we're so panicked about everything changing in our lives as a result, right? We're so wanting to stay kind of maybe and hope that our feelings don't change, because it's actually much easier for them not to change, for you to kind of stay where you're at with this individual, right? Because it's easier. You already live together. Everything's all sorted out already. But when your feelings change, it's almost like, oh, shit. You know, like, oh, man, it's like you come to this slow, painful realization that everything is inevitably going to change, right? The longer you fight it, the worse it gets, really, right? But the truth of the matter is going to change, because you can't help your feelings, right? You can't help when your feelings for someone evolve or change or make a 45-degree turn, you know what I'm saying? Or a 90-degree turn, you know what I mean? You can't really kind of control that. And so trying to control that situation is usually pretty futile, you know. We've got 10 of Pentacles here, Queen of Cups, and Death. There you go. There's the change of the relationship happening. High Priestess, there's the intuition. Your person knows something's up. Your Four of Swords and your Knight of Cups. There you go. Six of Wands. So a little victory there, right? Hoping for a little victory. Could be, you know... Again, you could be hoping, like, to control, you know, to maybe be able to control this, to maybe come out of this, like, shining in a way, or not, like, with everything falling to shit almost, you know. You're kind of hoping for this victory right now. Could be as well that, you know, your person is going to feel a bit of a victory when they actually get the proof that something's happened to a certain degree, right? That vindication could be coming in. But here we go. So for you right now, you're seeing yourself as Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, you're seeing yourself as doing really well. You're kind of buoyed with confidence right now, Pisces. Right? And Ten of Pentacles talks about having it all, right? But it also talks about having it all under your own steam. Like, you feel confident in your wealth and the money that you're bringing in, you know. It's your money. You've worked for it. You've come full circle. 10 is completion. You're ready to go to the next level. Certainly in terms of the physical, right? Your physical realm. You certainly obtain a certain level of kind of wealth and abundance, right? And the ability to jumpstart forward from that. So no wonder now you're seeing your world, like I said, the options in your world are opening up. And again, this doesn't mean you're rich, but it just means that abundance is coming in such a way that now you feel like there are other opportunities for you out there, right? And it's certainly making you feel like reevaluating everything, including your current relationship, right? Here's Queen of Wands to Queen of Cups, excuse me, clarify Knight of Wands, right? So you certainly feel like your person is trying to keep you, right? Queen of Cups, they're being very, very emotional with you. Queens are water, cups are water's emotional aspect of water. You know, your person, it could be very much so like anytime this conversation any type of conversation comes up about you perhaps not being happy, or perhaps them jumping around and moving around so much in and out of your life that you're not that happy with it. Anytime that conversation comes up, they turn on the waterworks, they turn on the guilt trip, they may start crying about how much they love you and how much everything they're doing for you and this relationship, and how dare you accuse them. You know what I mean? All of that. You know, all of that Queen of Cups, that can be very much Queen of Cups. Just pouring out your heart to somebody to get them to reciprocate, you know. Yet and still, that's kind of pretty much like how you see this. Right? So what's happening is that where before they may have exhibited this kind of behavior and it just worked on you, right? Because it sucked you completely in. Now that you're kind of changing and evolving, it's not sucking you in. You're just seeing them do it. And it's kind of like, oh, wow, this is their MO. This has always been their MO. Okay. All right, and now you're able to kind of get through this scenario a little bit better rather than just melting to their words, right? Perhaps like you did before. They're certainly employing this kind of attitude or this kind of set of behavior because they've been doing it and it's been working, right? But perhaps up until now, for you to be seeing it means that you're now aware of it and it's not really working on the same level as it did before. And here comes the death of this relationship. It's changed. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't control it. You can't control anything it's like all the pieces are in play now. You can't change how you feel. And you certainly can't change the fact that this is something that has to be addressed. It's just the big elephant in the room now. Your person is Queen of Wands and High Priestess. Well, my God, if there is any combination that makes somebody like sickeningly psychic, it would be this one. You know, your person absolutely knows what's happening. They know you so well, and they know themselves so well. They know everything about you, their relationship, and how you guys interact so well that they know exactly what's going on. Whether if you've cheated on them, trust me, they know you have. They know you have, and they know who you've cheated with them on too. I can guarantee you that. And even though they don't have all the information readily available, right, they see that you're hiding something from them. They're taking their sweet old time right now. They could very much be just strategizing, not necessarily ready to come forward for that conversation. They might be waiting for you to kind of hang yourself with your own rope, because Four of Swords is there. So they see you, you know, and the need to handle you with a lot of care and strategy, you know. They're not going forward with any kind of panic, right? They're taking their time. They're taking their time to deal with you, right? And they see you also very much as kind of like not moving towards any kind of resolution. They see that you're staying stum. You don't want to talk about it, and they see that too. But they're biding their time to decide how to move forward with this. They may be waiting to get confirmation, to get proof, to talk to somebody. Here we go. We got Ace of Swords after that. So Ace of Swords talks about information that comes in that can vindicate or prove a stance, right? Or an opinion. And your person sees the relationship very much as look at this, Knight of Cups. I think they feel like they can still come in, right? So this Knight of Cups confirms in a way this energy that you're seeing here. To you, it presents as Queen of Cups, but to them, they see themselves as Knight of Cups. So they see themselves as coming in like the knight in shining armor. They're going to say all the right things again. They're going to sweep you off your feet, right? They feel like that, this is the relationship, how they see the relationship. So they've almost perhaps happily taken on that role of also being that knight who comes in with the love. This person is in and out of your life in a lot of ways because they represent as the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. So a lot of times they're in and out because of their various like little projects and things they're working on. Their little group projects they're probably working on, or partnerships they're working with someone else or whatever. Or something in their career, or their little inventions, their little ideas or whatever like that. They're coming in and out perhaps with something like that, but then also they come in and out with the love, right? Like, oh, baby, or whatever, especially when something is going wrong, especially when they're sensing there's something going wrong, they adopt the Knight of Cups stance. But this is their MO as well, and it never stands or stays or maintains. There's no commitment because the Knight of Cups inherently is non-committal. He only kind of embodies that romantic energy long enough to get you to calm down, to relax, and to go back into a state where he can control you, and then he splits again. Or in a state where he can get what he needs, whatever satisfaction he needs or complicity. And then he leaves again and moves on. He doesn't have the commitment yet of the King of Cups, right? So that's it. I'm going to call it Pisces. Wow. This is your reading for this week. All right, June 24th, July 1st. Yeah, this has been a long one, 31 minutes. So if you resonate with this, please like, subscribe, sound off below in the comments. I'd love to hear if you're going through this kind of scenario and how you intend to go forward. Always check me out for the next weeklies, and we'll see. Maybe next week's reading will resonate with you and resonate with the next stage on this issue or another side of this issue. It's quite interesting, this dynamic today. But for right now, if you want to get a private reading, just follow the link at the bottom of your screen. And for now, have a wonderful last week of June, my beautiful Pisces. Bye-bye.